Okay, we are live. Haven't done a live one by myself for a little bit. Earlier this week, I stopped by Trey Griggs and I also stopped by Chris Jolly. Always a fun time to talk to those two guys. It's really fun to do live performance. That's what this is. So I posted yesterday about brake safety week. I love talking about maintenance and I love talking about brake safety. I tried to do a different approach last time. I did a meme with Gandalf saying, "Hey, if you defer maintenance, you shall not pass." Kind of tongue in cheek, but I think you get the picture. Last year, during brake check week, about 35,000 vehicles were inspected. This inspection takes place across United States, Mexico, and Canada, but this really does apply to everybody in the supply chain all across the world. So 35,000 vehicles inspected over the course of a week. How many do you think passed? How many think failed? It always surprises me, kind of, but not really. With Brake Safety Week, oh, hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Here's the thing 12% of vehicles inspected during Brake Safety Week last year in 2021 failed. 12%. Let me ask you a question. If you were going to the store and you were going to buy something and you knew that 12% of the time it wasn't going to work or was going to fail or be unsafe, would you buy it? Would you buy this supply chain if you knew that 12% of vehicles that were inspected for brakes were going to be put out of service? It reminds me of the International Roadcheck week. We talked about that, a couple of months ago when International Roadcheck was taking place. What about International Roadcheck? What do you learn about that one? Well, when that happened in 2021, 16% of vehicles inspected failed. 15 vehicles per minute were inspected during International Roadcheck, and now we're looking ahead at Brake Safety Week. Now, when is Brake Safety Week? Well, that's a really good question. It's August 21st through the 27th. You have 2 months ahead of you. This is the time that we talk about preventative maintenance. This broadcast, this thing that I do from time to time, I kind of colloquially call it TLAL, thinking like a lawyer, because I'm a lawyer. That's what I do. I have the paperwork to prove it. But what I want to do is just spend a moment and help you understand how you can get ahead of this inspection to make sure your vehicles are operating safely. When you do not plan, you have to plan on failing. That's what my buddy Jamie Irvin reminds me of ever so often. So, the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, this thing is really important. The Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance is caring about one specific thing: the safety of vehicles on the highway. We love to imagine in supply chain that the drivers operating those trucks are like airline pilots. They have been trained and put through the test. That may or may not be the case depending on the carrier. However, how are those assets maintained? The FMCSA, the governing body of these vehicles, requires one inspection a year. One inspection a year. Oh, that's a great point. I'm going to put this up here. Reactive maintenance, when you do something because you didn't plan on doing it, can be twice as expensive as when you plan it. I use this example. How much does it cost to replace a 7-way? Well, to answer that question, you have to first understand what is a 7-way. Well, 7-way is the front of the trailer where the thing gets plugged into. That's the little device on the front of every single trailer you're ever going to find, at least in the Class 8 space. Now, to replace that 7-way is about a 0.75, maybe an hour, depending on the customer and the SRT. And that SRT is standard repair time. But to get that done preventatively, it's going to be when it gets to the shop, it'll be 0.75 charge, and that's it. But if you have to replace that thing as an ad hoc, oh, buddy, you might be paying for the travel time of the mechanic. You might be having unscheduled downtime. It might be time and material. They might not have the right 7-way. You might have to pay for a parts run charge. At the end of the day, if you do things reactively, you will end up failing. Think of it like the dentist. If you were going to go to the dentist, you probably schedule that 6 months in advance, right? Maybe. If everybody ran dental practices like we run maintenance, it would be, I need to see the dentist now. I need I've been rejected by the store. My teeth aren't good enough. I need to have it fixed right this second. If you run everything like that, you will have a bad outcome. So let's just talk about some tips and tricks when it comes to brake safety week. Number one, get your vehicles inspected. If you have a PM schedule right now and it says the PM's going to be sometime in September, move it sooner. You have 2 months. For the shops out there that are watching this or maintenance providers, and I know many of you, if you have a client or a customer that says, I want to start talking about preventative maintenance and brake safety week, prioritize them. You as a shop need to control your calendar, and you do that by using preventative maintenance. How do I get the thing in now is not the answer. The answer is, how do we schedule this to make sure we can accomplish it? Fleets, share your PM schedules. If you got a dozen units due this month or next month, tell your provider, here's what I have. Can we start working on getting this put in place? Simple things will put your vehicle out of service. Things like hose tenders, the thing that keeps the airline hose from touching the ground. Because if it touches the ground, it's probably going to wear. If it wears, it's probably going to leak. If it leaks, it might not help you stop when you need to stop. Hose separators. This is a little piece of plastic. It keeps the hoses from touching each other. What happens when hoses touch each other? Well, they begin to rub. And what happens when they rub? Well, they begin to wear. And what happens when they begin to wear? They begin to fail. And what happens when they fail? Oh, a ton of things happen. Brake safety is what accounts for about 38.9% of all the things that are found wrong on International Roadcheck Week. This is your time to be proactive. Think ahead. You have the ability to control your fleet. And as a provider, you need to leverage this time to talk to your customers about preventative maintenance. You do not want to be on the side of the highway and find out that you are not running safe equipment. I would love to see the way we market supply chain is drivers holding up the clean bill of health on their vehicles. That would show this industry that safety is the only thing we care about. Safely delivering freight on time and undamaged is a key component of what supply chain is all about. Supply chains help you grow. Maintenance helps you sustain that growth. So what does a lawyer know about preventative maintenance? Well, usually you don't come to the lawyer until something horrible has gone wrong, and you're now trying to solve the problem as an ad hoc kind of reactive method. That's not a great way to do business. It's not a great way to run a fleet. We need to make sure that when we're doing preventative maintenance, we are looking for the things that will wear over time. You may not see that truck or trailer for 6 months, 3 months, maybe a year. You have to look at how the fleet uses those assets to make sure that when you're out there, you are getting these things maintained proactively. So this is my attempt to continue to talk about brake safety. This is coming in 2 months. You have all the time in the world. And if you don't do it, come on, dude. 12% will fail. And some fleets will park their things, not wanting to be inspected. If freight volumes go down, this is a great time to do maintenance. You can't defer maintenance on your teeth. You can't defer maintenance on your mental health. You can't defer maintenance on your body. You can't defer maintenance on your equipment. And if you do, they're going to find you and you're going to be fined. So, as Gandalf the Grey said as he looked at that Balrog as it strode across that bridge, if you do not maintain your equipment during brake safety week, you shall not pass. That was fun. I kind of enjoyed that one. All right, I think we're done. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we're trying to find new ways to talk about maintenance and using our minds to think about ways to make it safer on the highways. We all want safer highways. We all want better maintained equipment. This is one thing to keep in mind. Have a great day. Oh, I got to hit the end broadcast button. All right, we're there. We're almost there. I think we're done. Great. Thanks again, everybody.